Two Broke Betters, presented by Garrett Hollenbach and Dallas Walker.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to episode 13 of Two Broke Betters. I'm your host, Garrett. This is my co-host, Dallas.
Yo.
And tonight, we're going to be talking about more March Madness. It hasn't disappointed so far. Unfortunately, it's disappointed both me and Dallas, with both of our teams getting knocked out in pretty embarrassing fashion, I think, for both of us.
Absolutely. I'm humiliated.
Yes, as am I. But there's been plenty of upsets, plenty of great highlights, and great basketball. And now we're on to the Sweet 16. Starting out, we've got Arkansas and Gonzaga.
Arkansas Gonzaga, you say? SEC basketball. They're the last SEC team standing, right?
Yes.
You know I'm going with Arkansas +9 then. Gonzaga should have lost to Memphis. They even competed with Georgia State. Arkansas, they played New Mexico State, played well. I don't know.
Okay. For me, I said I think both of these teams are underperforming so far in March. They've played very close with their competition. I know Gonzaga pulled away at the very end against Georgia State, but that was a lot closer than it should have been for a while. I think teams who play very physical with Drew Timme, who's playing his best basketball right now, teams who play physical with him do very well against him. I think Jalen Williams is a physical big man, and B, he loves to draw charges, which he can do against Drew Timme. So I think this is a good matchup for Arkansas, especially because Chet Holmgren presents a mismatch for Arkansas. But the thing is, he's not like a takeover type of player. He's not going to take over and score 30 on Arkansas. He might score 15, and that's about it. Drew Timme is the one they have to worry about. If they can draw charges, get him in foul trouble, I like Arkansas +9. I really like their guards to defend these Gonzaga guards really well. And that's been the thing that puts them over the edge, because Drew Timme puts them in games and leaves them in games, but the guards are the ones that knock down the shots to give them leads. So I like Arkansas +9 points here. Moving on to the next one, Michigan, Villanova. Villanova is one of the teams I really have liked in March Madness. I think they're really well coached. I think they have great players. I think they have a great lead guard. I told Dallas this the other day, I love Villanova in small spread games where I think that they will win. Because keep in mind, if they're up at the end, they're going to get fouled. And this Villanova team is one of the top free throw shooting teams in the country. So they're going to knock down those free throws to cover the spread for you. I like Villanova -5. I really think they're hot, and I think they can handle Michigan. I think Michigan got to play against a Tennessee team that couldn't hit anything at the end of the game, and they got to play Colorado State in round one.
Yeah, I'm with you. I like Villanova as well. I think they just played one of the better defensive teams in Ohio State. And, I mean, it's not going to get much more physical than them. And also Michigan, like you said, they played two weaker teams. Or not weaker, but Tennessee wasn't as hot as they were during the SEC tournament. Frankie Collins has stepped in well for Jones. But like you said, Villanova and these small spreads, I won't do it again. I won't bet against them again. Their lowest free throw starter shoots at like 78%.
Not 80%.
You got me on that one.
On to the next one. I think this is going to be the headliner of the weekend. Texas Tech and Duke. Dallas, what do you like in this one?
Give me Duke. We saw it last game. These refs are going to do everything in their power to keep this Duke team in the game. And what I saw when I look back at Duke's past games is they have struggled with these incredible defensive teams, which falls under Texas Tech because they are a great defensive team. But on the flip side, Texas Tech has really struggled with these high-powered offensive teams. The highest three-point percentage shooting person on their team is one of their forwards, and he shoots it at 35%.
To
Everybody
Bryson
else
Williams.
everybody else on the team is under 30%. So while I think it will be a really good game just because it's a clash of offense versus defense, I'm going to go with the high-powered offense. I'm done riding with defensive teams.
Okay. Personally, for me, I can't bet on Duke. There's nothing
I feel that.
in my body that can bet on Duke. But what I am going to do is take an alternate line because I know that if this game is close, the refs will give it to Duke at the end. So I'm going to take Texas Tech -6.5. Yep. Because I know that if it's within 3 or 4, the refs will hand it to them by calling three fouls in less than 5 seconds on a team. Moving on to the next one, Houston, Arizona. Where I said I think Gonzaga and Arkansas both underperformed, I think Houston has overperformed. I think they have been great so far in the tournament. Kelvin Sampson, he's a great coach. He's had tournament experience. Houston has had tournament experience. Arizona the last few years has not. I think Arizona does have some star power on their team, but I really like the way Houston's playing right now. I'm going to take Houston +1.5.
Yeah, I'm going to roll with that as well. Kyler Edwards is shooting the ball so well. He's a volume shooter, but he's hitting at a really nice clip. I already talked about how much I like Shed. And then their defense on these bigger centers, they've been having to deal with Jalen Duren they played him 3 times. They know how to deal with these hyped up centers, which is what Arizona has. Obviously they've got 2 really good guards, but I think their defense and their offense, they're both I think top 5 in the country.
Yeah, I know Houston's big in all the metric charts, so I know it'll be up there.
So I'm with you.
Yeah. All right, there we go on the same side. One thing I will say I've said to you in the past is a bunch of the tournament, it's luck. Like you get a lucky play, a lucky roll, and that these teams that end up winning, they have multiple games like that where they have a lucky play. And I was thinking Arizona got a lucky play with the no foul call at the end of the game. And then I was like, okay, yeah, maybe Arizona will win. And they're going to go on to win the whole thing off something like that. Houston got the worst technical foul call I've ever seen. So both of them got lucky calls. On to the next game. The Cinderella story this year. I hate them, but it's hard not to like them at the same time. They've knocked out my whole state of Kentucky. They then dunked on the whole state of Kentucky by tweeting out a picture of the state of Kentucky with the St. Peter's mascot just in the middle of it. So I hate them, but I also love them. I wrote down one word, Doug. St. Peter's +12.5.
Yeah, I'm right there with you again. I'll be cheering my merry little heart along with St. Peter's. I obviously don't have the hatred that you do for them. I've loved seeing this run from them, even at your expense. But also, they just dealt with 2 of the better guards in the tournament, Justice Hill and Tevin Brown. Jaden Ivey's obviously a couple tiers above that, but that's the guy you have to – that's the guy. You stop him, and with this New Jersey, Brooklyn attitude that they've got rolling around with the confidence of 1,000 armies versus one small man, they can do it.
Yeah,
I'm
I
going
will
St.
say,
Peter's money line.
I will say this does present a different matchup for St. Peter's with the two giants on the inside. But this
Yeah.
defense that St. Peter's is just, they're a great team. They have the toughness, the attitude, they have the defense. The defense is top 15 in defensive efficiency. They have a great coach. The sets and the offensive plays they run are crazy. For if you look at some of these small teams, it's normally just senior guards knocking down tough shots and leading a team deep into March or making a Cinderella run. The offensive sets that they have are beautiful to watch. Just all the back cuts and the pops off of screens that they have. It's really nice to watch. So St. Peter's plus 12.5. Dallas took the money line here.
No. I'm going plus 12.5.
On to the next one. Providence and Kansas.
Yeah, Kansas screwed me. And I will no longer go with them. So I'm going to go Providence plus 7.5. Luckiest team in the country. We talked about it. They're also a really solid basketball team. I love watching Al Durham. This Kansas team just can't. They don't put teams away like they should be doing, and that's the only reason I need to go with Providence.
Okay. Yeah, whenever I've watched Providence in March Madness, I've been blown away with the big man, Nate Watson. I think he's made key plays down the stretch in both of their games so far. Even though the second one, they didn't really need key plays down the stretch, but they needed key plays from him to extend the lead. My big takeaway, probably the two luckiest teams in all of college basketball, Providence, metric-wise, is the luckiest team. Kansas, luckiest team because they haven't gotten in trouble with their violations by the NCAA yet, which will be coming. I went with the total here. I went over 141. A little bit of stats for you. Providence has averaged 71.5 points so far in March Madness. Kansas, 81 points. Both teams are coming off a hot performance which would have put them top 7 in offensive efficiency. And on top of that, their defense stinks. They're both ranked worse than 58th in the country in defense. So I went over 141 there. On to the next game. I think this is going to be my headliner for Sunday. UNC, UCLA. I think last game against St. Mary's, we saw the UCLA team we all saw last year in March Madness. They looked pretty dominant. But what I will say, that team relied heavily on Jaime Jaquez, who is questionable to play against UNC. I'm going to take UNC plus 2.5.
Ooh, that's scary. I'm still going to roll with UCLA, though. I think UNC Baylor was struggling towards the end, and they gave up they were rolling in that game until what's his name got ejected. What's his name?
Manic.
Yeah. I think that had a lot to do with it. I think they closed that game out pretty strong after giving up a
25.
horrible comeback. Yeah. But I like this UCLA team. They played a really stingy Akron team in the first round. They should have got beat, but they came back and then they whooped up on St. Mary's. I like their veteran guards. I like Jaime. So I will tell him to play for me, and that's why I'm going UCLA, because he will play for me.
Yeah, I definitely think this is the best matchup because I think both teams are very, very talented and both teams are hot right now. So I think UNC is clicking on all cylinders right now. I think Armando Bacot is playing his best basketball right now. So,
but if it comes down to free throws, then UNC screwed.
Yeah. on to the last game of the Sweet 16. Iowa State and the Miami Hurricanes. Dallas, what do you have to say about the Miami Hurricanes, who just beat the regular season SEC champions, the Auburn Tigers?
You know, I've loved Jabari Smith all year. He's been one of my favorites to go through this Auburn teams. And I haven't seen him struggle in a game until the last one. He lets a 5'4" guard dunk on him. He gets stuffed at the rim by a 6'8" white dude. I think he may have been able to jump over a shoelace. It would have been luck if he did, though. It was rough to watch. But if I was a Miami fan, it was fantastic to watch. Miami, they didn't shy away from the moment. Their guards played really well. Wong is so good. He's like what KD Johnson would be if KD Johnson was skilled at the game of basketball. So I'm gonna go Miami minus 2.5. Their tempo, the way you can't press them. They're too fast for it. They're too athletic. And this Iowa State team that relies so heavily on defense with no offense and has played an LSU team without their coach, who was already – LSU was on the regressing state of their season. They played Wisconsin, who almost lost to four unathletic white guys and one decent guard in Colgate. And then they had to lose their point guard for Iowa State to even win. I'm going to go Miami here.
Okay. I'm going to start by reflecting on that Miami-Auburn game. I thought it was –
please don't.
I thought it was really long. I thought it was really long of that guy to dunk on Jabari Smith. I will say I hated to see your team lose, but God, it was glorious to see KD Johnson go down like that. Just to see him.
I know everyone loved it.
Just to see him give up at the end. I don't know. I know you were watching closely, but they've shown some plays where he was just it was an 8-point game late in the second half, and he had just given up. Like there were fast breaks, and he was just letting people score on him.
The moment I saw him step up to the free throw line and he's laughing and giggling and talking to Moore, immediately misses the first one, I knew it was over. I almost turned it off. They weren't even down that much, but he had completely lost focus. Yeah. Ugh.
Yeah. I think you got it right. Every team that both of these two teams have played are regressing a little bit. I just think Miami is the better team here. Iowa State got to play against two teams who are way worse off, with LSU firing Will Wade. And then news came out today, LSU hired Murray State's coach. That's a little bit depressing. But Iowa State also played a Wisconsin team without Chucky Hepburn in the second half. I think Miami's been shown a little bit more for me in the NCAA tournament. That's why I'm going to take Miami minus 2.5. Yeah, there are our picks. Let's run through our favorites really quick. I liked Villanova minus the 5, Houston plus 1.5, and UNC plus 2.5.
Yeah, I also like the Houston one. I like Duke plus 1, and I also like Miami minus 2.5.
Okay. Yeah, I like that Miami one too. There are our picks for the Sweet 16. This has been a great tournament so far. If there's any player that stuck out, it definitely has to be Doug.
Yeah.
So there's our Sweet 16 games. If you're not already following us on social media, go ahead and do it. Follow us on TikTok. Follow us on Instagram. We're giving out daily picks that we can't do. We can't do a video every single day. So we're giving out daily picks. And me and Dallas have been hot. Dallas has been hot on the NBA props trail. I've been hot on the March Madness trail. I know before today, I sort of stunk it up today. I was 14-4 since the beginning of March Madness. Dallas, what was your record in the last week in props?
I started out 1-4, but then I went on a 9-2 run.
There we go. See, we're both hot at the perfect time. I know we both had a perfect day last week where the two of us combined for 7-0. So if you're not already, follow us on TikTok, follow us on Instagram, follow us on Twitter at 2BrokeBetters. Hope everyone has a great week and hope everyone has a great time watching the Sweet 16 and then the Elite Eight. Because this has been a great season, a great March Madness, first March Madness in a few years with fans. So this has been awesome.
Farouk Manesh, a three.
Good! You can't be serious with that shot.